Jama, everyone. Welcome to the special session. Happy to be here with you. Shraddha. Shraddha to the divine. And the divine is an exploration I have been wanting to have for some time. And I'm currently writing on it also. So I was talking to Ishani earlier about where you are with your understanding of Ishvara, and I wanted to present to you a classical understanding of Ishvara, and I wanted to respond to a query that you may have as to why I didn't just begin with Ishvara. Why did I begin with talking to you about samsara and Brahman and Atma? So just it's really easy, it's really beautiful, and what I'm about to share with you is also indicative of how deeply the seers of the Upanishads had contemplated and connected with a reality that was beyond description. It's really easy to say, this is God, and that's it, believe it, or don't. You're a believer or a non-believer. But what they did was they went inside themselves and they touched something eternal. It was amidst death, amidst the collapse of the body, amidst the decay and the old age, but there was something. Like, if there was death, there was birth. If there was night, there was morning. If there was suffering, there was renewal through knowledge. So it felt like it was not a linear journey. It was circular. Check. Everybody agrees. Everybody can feel that. Also, it was very clear that there is something that survives death. There is something that is eternal. There is something that is observing the changes, but it's not itself changing. All these observations at a micro and a macro level, they came up with a concept of Brahman, or pure consciousness. And Brahman can never be really approached by us easily. It cannot be the divine for us, but this can be the field, that consciousness can be a field of all possibilities. So from a tiny caterpillar to you and this whole universe and millions of galaxies ever growing, all are in this possibility. And that's why the name of this field is not a finite field, but the name of this field is Brahman, which means that which can never be superseded. You grow a couple of trillion more galaxies, it's going to get bigger. So the field is mystical. It is super consciousness, so it never runs out of real estate, so to say. And within it, we see three cardinal principles. So listen carefully. These three cardinal principles, because we can't really make an Excel sheet of all the billions and trillions of things that Brahman becomes and yet transcends it. It can't just become it, because if Brahman becomes me and you, then it becomes locked inside us. So Brahman is us and beyond us. So it's always free and within us in a form of Shunya, or in the form of Ishani, or in the form of a caterpillar, and yet it's free. So it is immanent in a form and immanent. It is everywhere. It transcends too. But when we look at Brahman from an understanding perspective, then we have to nail down Brahman, or the supreme consciousness, into three pillars. What are those three pillars? Well, let's begin with ourselves. Definitely, you and I are a pillar of life, of connection, and of inherence. And as a result, the individual, if I don't count my name, then I can say as an individual, a living creature. So the creature is one pillar. And so if I'm a creature or I'm an individual, my name in Sanskrit is Jiva, Jiva. When I look at my dog, it's like, this is a dog, this is a human. But from the perspective of our creaturehood or our Brahmanhood, we are both Jivas. Okay? You know, you open a pea and you find sometimes some creatures in a green pea. They are also Jivas. You know, those things in your drain that are eating the food that you throw, they are also Jivas. So these are all forms within which Brahman lives. So this is known as Jiva. Okay. The second pillar of Brahman recognition is, we can all see from your own perspective, you see you and you see the world, right? The world. The world includes Earth, beyond, Milky Way, beyond, millions of galaxies beyond, trillions of galaxies beyond. It's the whole world. Anything minus you is the world, right? You see it outside. So you go, okay, so the world is clearly pervaded by Brahman. So the world, the Sanskrit name for the world is Jagat, Jaget, Jagat. It doesn't matter if you remember these Sanskrit names or not, because I'm an Acharya, I'll share it with you anyway. One should always be open to knowledge. This lifetime or the next one, it will come in useful. So Jiva, Jagat. But then we feel, okay, if this is it, like I can feel it inside me, there is something eternal, there is something unbroken. And how do we feel it? Because we don't want to be broken. We want to go back to our unbroken essence, to our wholeness, to our joyfulness. So we feel that might be Brahman's nature. And the world is also a crisscross of shade and shadow, shadow and light. So probably there is a purest version of Brahman is available in the third pillar, known as Ishvara. This is the third pillar. So whereas in the world, sometimes when you are in the middle of massacres and wars and rapes and alcoholic orgies and puke and vomit and stool and urine, you wonder, where is Brahman? But that is also, everything is Brahman. Okay? Because the Brahman, when something is radically whole, it's not trying to be holy. See, there's a difference. And as my students, I want you to understand that wholeness is a bigger position than holiness. I want you to get this. If you are demanding God to be whole, then God cannot split up between I am good, that is bad. God cannot do that. If God is wholeness, because this is a very different version of God. This is not an anthropomorphic God, or a Brahman is not a person. And Brahman's direct reflection is Ishvara, and Ishvara is also not a person. At the most, you can imagine Ishvara as a principle. You can imagine Ishvara as a mystical presence. Are we clear? I see some heads nodding. So if I were to find Brahman, and it's so cool that I'm just writing this only, that if I were to find Brahman, where would it be easy? It would be easiest inside me. But unfortunately, it's hardest because our mind gets all foggy and messed up. So in Vedanta, in Vedas, We begin with worshipping or accessing. Worship again is a very Abrahamic word, right? Abrahamic religious word, worship. Worship is not a Vedic word. For us, the word is upasana. Upasana. It's actually a yoga, upasana yoga. Upasana means to go and be with something. So if you want to be with Brahman, then it is easiest to connect with Ishvara, because that is the purest version. And I will go on talking about Ishvara till you know Ishvara very well. So that's the easiest. But still, that's one version. And so we will bring in Bhakti. Bhakti Yoga is the way to continue our coming close, upasana, to Brahman as Ishvara. Then, when we get pretty connected with Ishvara, we will pick up the next way of finding Ishvara in the world. So we will start serving the world, feeding the hungry. You might be doing it already, but it will happen at a much deeper level, because you won't think you're feeding a person or a dog or saving a caterpillar. You'll think you are engaging with Ishvara, because remember, the second pillar is the world. And thirdly, which is the most profound, for which you have to prepare, so you go from outside to inside, is you'll close your eyes and you will begin chanting Om, and you will find that Brahman or Ishvara that was outside, that was in the world, is now inside you. You are that. This is the journey. So we always begin with understanding the biggest comprehensible picture. And you can see that there is no room here for Hindu Ishvara, Christian Ishvara. It has gone beyond that. It has gone beyond that. In fact, Ishvara is not even a gender. Ishvara is a gender neutral word. And then you can understand, you can ask, who is Durga? Who is Saraswati? So then we can say, okay, so then I'm going to read to you what I just now wrote, which will answer your question, and then we'll talk. Okay, then we will talk. Then who is Durga? Who is Saraswati? Understanding a little bit about who's Ishvara, and then I have to give you some more steps about Ishvara. I'm going to read. Then who is Durga? That's the question then. And I'll just read to you what I'm about to. I think by the end of next year, you'll have this book. I'm just ready to send it to my publishers. Just doing final polish on it. Yeah. Listen up. During my childhood, Baba shared enchanting stories of the divine beneath our ancestral mango tree. The dappled sunlight filtering through the rustling leaves and golden fruits seemed to illumine the seeds of my comprehension of Ishvara. Lying on the ground, I gazed up at the mangoes, and within each one, I discerned the shimmering presence of Rama and Sita, the avatars of Vishnu and Lakshmi, transcending form and time. Beneath the comforting shade of that ancient tree, Baba conveyed profound wisdom regarding Ishvara, the cosmic intelligence that transcends all confines. He explained that Ishvara is the entirety within every individual context of the Jiva, the individual soul. My youthful mind grappled with this boundless concept, but Baba's comforting words carried me deeper into understanding. Ishvara as the supreme shapeshifter. This is my subheading. Baba described Ishvara as a chameleon. I don't know if it's called chameleon or chameleon, but whatever that is. As the ultimate chameleon, the ultimate shapeshifter. He shared, if the Jiva, which is you and I, sees themselves as the doer of actions, Ishvara oversees the distribution of outcomes. If the Jiva perceives themselves as earthlings, Ishvara assumes the role of Mother Earth, nurturing and sustaining them. As I reclined under the mango tree, Baba continued, when a Jiva seeks knowledge, Ishvara transforms into Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, guiding them in their pursuit of wisdom. Should an individual identify as an Indian, Ishvara embodies Bharat Mata, Mother India, and as American, as Father Nation, providing protection and nourishment to the land. Baba's voice resonated with warmth as he expounded on worship. Upasana. Every form, whether the Upasana of Vishnu, Shiva, Hanuman, nature, ancestors, or saints or guru, serves as a conduit to worship the same one supreme presence, Ishvara. There exists only one Ishvara, all-knowing, because it is the purest Brahman. So there exists only one Ishvara, all-knowing, all-powerful, and compassionate. Every name and form, even the nameless and formless, provide avenues to revere the same one divine non-dual essence. These teachings flowed from Baba's heart, echoing the words of Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 4, Lord Krishna says, in whatever manner individuals or jivas seek the infinite, I respond to their seeking. People approach the infinite through diverse paths. I meet them on these diverse paths. Lying beneath the mango tree, I grasped the Ishvara's divine embrace, resembled the tree's branches, unbounded, timeless, and a sanctuary for every questing soul. Ishvara adapted to meet our needs, for Ishvara transcends the limitations of form and time, imparting the liberating truth that the divine is eternally present and all-encompassing. So I think this writing was just perfect to just read out to you. I could have explained it, but the writing is succinct, so I can just read it to you. So then what is this Ishvara? So this Ishvara is a principle. And so once we understand Ishvara, then who is Durga? Durga Ishvara. Who is Saraswati? Saraswati is Ishvara. And interestingly, while Ishvara has millions of forms, so you can say the caterpillar is Ishvara, but we don't worship the caterpillar. But actually, in Hinduism, which is most connected to the Vedas, we do. We worship everything. The insects, the cockroaches, everything is sacred. There is nothing non-sacred. So first, I just wanted to talk to you about a religion that believes in this completely. So let's put that aside. Now let's talk from a spiritual Vedic perspective. That then who are the deities? You can say that there are three principles. So Brahman has three pillars, which is the Jiva, which is us living beings, creatures, the world, and you can say the divine, Ishvara. The divine itself, its main work or function, the way we perceive it, it's not like a person doing it, but it operates or is available to us, or we can deduce it by the work it does. Just like you can't see wind, but you can deduce the presence of wind when it blows. When it moves the leaves, you know wind is blowing. You can't see it. In the same way, Ishvara, the supreme presence, the supreme principle, the supreme intelligence. Now, I'm not talking about Brahman, but you understand that it is the purest representation of Brahman within our understanding, with our cognitive minds. We see some work happening at an invisible level, and we deduce that this must be due to Ishvara's laws. What are those three cardinal principles? One we see, so it's so scientific. One, we see that creation is happening.